Welcome to Her Money Revolution. I'm your host, Angela Brooks, your guide on this journey to becoming a wealthy woman. As a certified financial planner, owner, and advisor at Family Capital Management, I'm on a mission to simplify the conversation around investing and to help women generate more wealth by making their money work for them. Join me as we navigate powerful financial planning strategies to help you achieve your personal and professional goals. This podcast is your go-to destination for no fluff, easy to implement financial and investing advice. If you are ready to achieve audacious financial goals, dream beyond boundaries, and generate massive wealth for you and your family, this podcast is for you. Grab a notebook. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to Her Money Revolution, the podcast where we empower women to grow their wealth by making their money work for them. I'm your host, Angela Brooks, and I am also a mom of 3 beautiful babies, and I love this topic so very much. Teaching our kids and teens the why behind money. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about teaching our kids the why behind money. If you caught the last episode, we talked about using back to school season as a powerful reset, not just for routines, but for teaching your kids how to spend money, how to budget, how to save, and more importantly, how to give. We started with those basics, but today I want to go a little bit deeper. We're going to dive into 5 points on how to teach your kids why money matters and how that builds character through having those money conversations and what to do if you're starting late with older kids or teens. I don't have teens yet, but I was one at one point, and I had memories of my relationship with money and how that started developing when I was a teenager. So we're going to dive into some of that. Let's start with this question. What's the point of money? For adults, we often think of money in terms of security. Maybe we think we have freedom. The more money we have, the more freedom we have. Maybe we think in terms of choices. But for our kids, they don't think about money the same way. They think, it's a snack bar at school or the toy aisle at Target or maybe that Roblox gift card that they've been wanting. And that's okay because kids see the world through their lens. And it is our job as parents or as aunts and uncles to help expand that lens and connect money to values, not just things or not just a toy. So number 1, start with purpose, not pressure. Instead of just saying, no, we can't afford that, we're not going to buy that right now, try changing your narrative and say something like, that's not how we choose to spend our money right now. We're saving for something more important to us, something more aligned with our values. Rather than saying no, you shift their mind to think more of intention of what we're going to do with our money. This shifts that mindset from that scarcity of, no, we can't afford it, to being more intentional. Yeah, we could afford it if we choose not to spend our money on that right now. It opens the door to talk about priorities, to talk about goals, values, and even sacrifices that you're willing to make because there's something more aligned with your values that you'd rather choose to spend money on, which is at the heart of healthy financial decision-making, right? Some of those sacrifices that we choose to make. And remember, the goal here is not to make your kids money experts. They're kids. It's to raise adults who are thoughtful, who are generous, most importantly, who are confident with their money choices. Number 2, tie money to values. Ask your kids, what is something that you care about and how could money help make a difference in that area? We'll be amazed at some of their answers. I asked my son this and he said that he wanted to help people that didn't have homes. And I wasn't expecting that answer. I was really amazed. Like, okay, that's a great answer. So we talked about how money can buy food, how money can buy blankets or hygiene items and shampoo and conditioner. It wasn't about the dollars. It was about the compassion behind the dollars, the compassion, the why we use our money to help others. We want to help our kids see that money is a tool. It isn't something that has feelings. It doesn't care about you. If your kids are like, oh, I don't care about money. Okay, fine. Money doesn't care about you either. Money is a tool. And just like any tool, it's most powerful when it's used with purpose. Use a hammer to screw something into the wall. So we want to understand how to use this tool. Number 3, use real life teaching moments. I feel like I do this maybe a little bit too much. My mother-in-law was here a while ago and she's like, oh my goodness, every moment to teach a life lesson. And so I maybe have to bring it back a little bit. But if you look at every moment, especially with your littles, every moment, real life moment is a teaching moment, whether you recognize it or not. You're influencing your kids one way or the other. So like at the grocery store, give your child a spending amount and ask them to pick out school snacks within that limit. And here's the thing, let them do it. Don't control it. Don't fix it. Don't change it. That's their choice. If they're at school the next week and that snack is in their lunchbox, they're going to remember, oh my goodness, I had money. I bought this for myself. Or they're going to remember, shoot, I ran out of money because I chose something different. Now today I don't have a snack in my lunch. Those are those life lessons that are so easy to teach our kids that are really foundational. If you go on vacation, show them ahead of time, show them how you're saving for that trip. Bring them into the conversations. Talk about what it looks like to go out to eat versus going to the grocery store and just making food at the hotel. If you have a teenager, some of those conversations might be a little bit young for them. So if you have a teen that wants a new phone, for example, make them part of that decision-making process. Explain that expense and how that impacts you on a monthly basis. Let them see those numbers. These everyday moments become amazingly powerful teaching tools. And they show your child that money isn't just a grown-up thing. It's not an adult responsibility. It's not just mom and dad's topic. It's part of life. It's part of their life. And they can learn it now. They're not too young. Number 4, what if you are starting late? What if they aren't young anymore and you're already in young adult or teenagers? That's okay. If your child is already a tween or a teen and you're just now starting these money conversations, give yourself some grace. It's never too late to start. In fact, some of those ages, those kids might be more ready to understand the why behind earning and saving and investing. It might be a new topic for them, but they're actually living it out right now. Maybe they're thinking about buying a new car, or they're thinking about college, or they're trying to get a job. They're going to understand it differently than littles will, right? And those kids that don't have those big responsibilities. So explaining the why behind it at a teenage, in those teen years, is crucial. It's a perfect window to have those honest, meaningful conversations about money. One of the things that I've really encouraged a lot of my clients and friends that have teens that are getting their first job, they're wanting to buy a car and they don't know if they can afford it. So they're looking for a job and they get their first paycheck. Sit down with your child and explain the paycheck. Look at the pay stub, all the little items. And if you don't know it, Google it or chat GPT it. Look at where is that money going? You're paying for taxes. You're paying for contributing to a 401k. You're paying for Medicare, you're paying for Social Security. All of that goes, you can see that on your pay stub. So show your teen that. Explain it to them because no one else is going to explain it to them. Let me share you a story. A friend and a client of mine, she's single. She's got 3 beautiful kids. At the time, her kids, a couple of them were in high school and her oldest son was headed off to college. And she was doing and paying for everything. She was stressed out. She was really struggling. She was trying to do everything that she could to stay afloat, working long hours, making sure that her kids had everything that they needed. And she was doing this and trying to shield them from that financial stress, right? She was carrying that burden by herself. She didn't want to stress her kids. She didn't want to burden them with the worries about the bills or money that they didn't have. She thought that they had enough. They were trying to get good grades in school and they had enough responsibilities. So she was trying to protect them from that. And I see it completely differently. You're growing or you're raising these kids. These kids are growing up to be capable adults. Life isn't going to get easier for them. So if they can't carry an A in school without having other responsibilities other than just focusing on their social life and getting good grades, like that's not real life, right? When you're an adult, you have a real job, you got real bills, you got mortgage, you got your own kids to take care of, you got a marriage to manage. Like that's a lot of responsibilities. So you're actually keeping this to yourself, you're hindering them. And that's what I told her. I said, you're actually not protecting them. You're doing a disservice to them. You're unintentionally hindering them from growing and learning real life responsibilities by paying for everything and for hiding the reality of your financial stress that was truly stressing her out. She was missing an opportunity to teach her kids about resilience and responsibility and gratitude, right? So I encouraged her to stop paying for everything. You got to involve your kids, involve them in that value spending plan conversations. Don't just have them with me. We were meeting monthly and we're going through it and I was trying to help her. I was helping her, and she refused to involve her children. She finally did though, right? I really pushed a little bit because I wanted her to show her kids the stack of bills that she was facing every month. Let them feel that pressure right now. Why they're home, why they're with you, why it's safe, why you can still protect them from that, why you can still help them navigate through those financial burdens. They're young yet. They're not out on their own. It's the safest place to help them understand those stresses. So she did, right? I really believe that if you understand it at a younger age, it helps you make better decisions when they truly step out on their own, when kids are making those big adult decisions. So guess what happened? She did it. She had that conversation with all three of her kids. They had a family meeting. And to her surprise, not really mine, she's got good kids, and I knew that. But to her surprise, all three of her kids stepped up. Not just one, all three of them. All three of them got part-time jobs. They started asking her how they could help more. What can I do around the house? Let me pay for this. They were actually a little upset with their mom that she didn't let them know before. Right? They're like, Mom, they felt badly. They're good people. They felt bad that they had asked so much for her and that she had sacrificed so much for them. They didn't realize how much their mom was sacrificing for them, how little she was spending on herself so that she could make sure that her kids had everything. So instead of resenting the conversation, her kids rallied around her and they truly became a team and they're doing amazing. There's still work to be done. But the stress level isn't just hers, it's a lot less. And she's sharing that burden with her children and she's teaching them life lessons that's necessary. They are now planning together. They're budgeting together. They make more intentional choices. And best of all, they no longer expect mom to be the bank. They respect her even more for how hard she's worked. And they're learning to carry some of that weight with her. It's such a cool story. I love meeting with her and hearing how amazing all three of her kids are doing. That's the power of bringing your kids into the conversation, even if it feels uncomfortable at first, and it probably will, and that's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to be honest and you need to be present because your vulnerability is going to become the greatest classroom your kids will have. Because here's the thing about kids. What I've seen in my own kids, they want responsibility. When I hand my kids projects around the house, one that I normally do myself, and I let them take full ownership of it from start to finish, I don't correct it, I don't fix it, I let them own it, I see it immediately with my three. They stand up a little taller, they put their shoulders back, they feel so proud and so capable that they're ready to handle it. They're like, yes, Mom, what's next? They're excited. Now, I know my kids are still young, so sure, they love doing the laundry. They think it's, big stuff doing that. But that feeling doesn't end with childhood. Think about your own self. When you get something off your to-do list or when you accomplish something, you're so proud of yourself. At least I am. Well, it's the same for teenagers or young adults. They may not always ask for responsibility. In fact, you might get a lot of pushback initially, but they still need it. It's part of how they grow into confident, capable adults. And for me, that confidence is a big deal for kids, for my kids. I want them to feel so confident as they enter into their teenage years and adult years. But I get it. Teens push back at first. I'm sure they will. And that's okay. But giving them and consistently giving them real tasks, real responsibilities will help them learn those life lessons. It's necessary. It is going to prepare them for adulthood. It's going to build that quiet, steady confidence that they'll carry with them forever. So it's not just chores around the house. It's bigger responsibilities with paying for things themselves. And if that answer is sorry, no, okay, you go pay for it, teenager. Make a way, figure out a way. And the key with all of this, with teens especially, is striking that balance of, having enough freedom for them while layering in that responsibility, and then also staying close enough to help guide them and to support them as they grow into more independence for themselves. It's not just ripping the Band-Aid off and saying good luck. I'm not saying that, but it's finding that balance. Number 5, encourage generosity and gratitude. One of the most powerful lessons that we teach our kids is that money isn't just for getting things that they want. It's also about giving. When children learn to view money as a tool to bless others, it shifts their mindset from self-centeredness, all about me, mine, to stewardship. Nothing is mine. How can I use this tool to bless others? How can I be grateful for the things that I have? And the earlier we plant that seed, the deeper the roots grow. Let me tell you a story about my sweet little son. At our marina, there's this little ship store. It's got snacks, and you can imagine like a marina ship store. Easton absolutely loves going to the ship store. He asks for money to go buy a snack. And at the beginning of the season, the beginning of the boating season, he'd come running up, whether I'm at the pool or the boat, and he'd ask for money. And I'd give him some cash to say, hey, no sugar. Sometimes that's mostly what I would say is like, no candy, no ice cream, but you can get whatever else. And so I give him the cash, and I don't say, hey, bring back the change. Just half kind of curious of what would happen and half just not thinking that through fully. I'm more focused on like, hey, don't buy candy. But at the beginning of the season, this would happen a handful of times, and he'd come back to the boat or the pool, wherever I was hanging out, happy as can be with his little snack. And of course, no change, no money. So finally, one of the times he came back, I asked, hey, guy, where's my change? Do you have any change for me? And he looked at me and he's like, Mom, no, I don't have any change. I'm like, okay, well, why not? I gave it to the dock ladies. They're helping me find the chips and getting it off the shelf. So, of course, I have to give them a tip. And he says it so matter-of-factly, like, duh, hello. One time he's like, no, I bought my friend some stuff too. And I'm like, okay, great. So I didn't outwardly say anything to him, like, other than, okay, cool, good job, bud. But inside, if I'm honest, I was slightly annoyed. Like, oh my gosh, I keep giving you like $10 or $20 for a $2 snack, and you keep tipping these ladies. Like, that's a lot of money. It's been the last like 2 or 3 weekends that he's doing this. But I didn't say, of course, I didn't say anything to him, but I'm feeling that internally. But I let it go. And over the next few weekends, the same thing would continue to happen. I'd give him cash, and he would leave the dock ladies a big tip. So, the fact that I kept giving him the money and not asking for the change, like, I'm behaving, I'm okay with it. Like, great, okay, good job, But inside, I was really wrestling with it a little bit. Like, gosh, he's paying a lot for these chips, and these ladies really need to keep getting all these tips from my son. So it was just an internal wrestle. But here's when the shift happened for me. We pulled into the gas stack. This is the first time this season we're getting gas. And the ship store is right there attached to the gas stack. So we're on our boat. We pull into the gas stack. Before I even have the lines out, all the dock ladies, there's 3 or 4 of them, they all come running out of the ship store, waving and smiling. They're offering to help with the boat. And as we're tying the lines, each of them started to say how amazing Easton is, how lovely he is, how they can't wait to see Easton come to the store. One of them was like, honestly, Angela, we love it when Easton comes to the store. He is the highlight of our day. He always is so polite. He's so kind. He gives us the biggest hugs. He always wants to chat about how things are going. And then she says, and every time, Angela, without fail, he leaves us a tip. He looks us in the eye and says, thank you for your help. Have a great day. I'll be back later. I could cry. My mama heart just melted. For her to be so moved by my son, and he's amazing, my little buddy. He's just so sweet. But I was so proud. I was so proud. In that moment, I realized something. I know this. I teach this. I preach this. But it was a real life example for me. I was humbled. Like, why am I even wrestling with this? Of course, these ladies need a tip. But more importantly, my son is learning to be generous. Not only is he learning, he is being generous. Sure, Easton may be draining my bank account one generous gesture at a time, but he's learning to be thoughtful, and he's being appreciative, and he's being generous. And that's worth more than any amount of change he could bring back to me. Generosity and gratitude go hand in hand. When kids see the impact of small acts of kindness like that, giving a doc lady a hug and a tip, and then when we affirm those moments, as a parent, I'm thankful that I didn't outwardly say, like, don't do that, man. Like, bring me my change. They don't need a tip. I affirmed him, saying, good job, bud. Way to be kind. Good job, bud. When we affirm those moments, it helps them associate money with meaning. It helps them associate money with purpose, not just spending. So sure, Easton may not fully understand the value of a dollar or how much things cost. That's fine. But it's foundational, lifelong lessons, right? He is beginning to associate money with meaning, not just spending. I am helping him, my husband, helping him have a foundation of being generous. And he's helping me recognize opportunities to be generous and not to be so tight with money. Not only is there foundational life lessons being taught for him, I grew up with not much money. We were poor. I was constantly trying to earn and find ways to make money. So my relationship with money is going to be different than Easton's. I was scared to be generous because we didn't have things. So I wasn't growing up. I don't ever remember, we did do a lot of giving, but I don't remember that. I remember trying to make money, earn money, save money. My dad would borrow money from me and I'd charge him interest. Those were my memories around money. But my kids' memories are going to be about giving and being generous and being good tippers. Please be good tippers. Give your kids a chance to give. Let them see you tipping well. Let your kids see you donating or paying for someone else's coffee, right? Let your kids hear you say, thank you, I appreciate you, with intention. Those little moments every day are shaping the character of your kids more than we realize, okay? So I know my mother-in-law thinks that take every moment be a life lesson, but it can be, and it is. So if you constantly look back at yourself and say, how am I behaving? Because one day my child is going to talk to me that way, or one day my child's going to behave the same way I'm behaving. I want them to be proud of who I am today. I want to look at them as adults and be proud of who they are and know that it comes out of my mouth and my husband's mouth and how we behave that's designing and helping them create the characters of who they're going to be as adults. Okay, in closing, I love this topic. I know I could keep going, but in closing, listen, teaching your kids about money does not require you to have a financial degree. Okay, you don't have to be an expert yourself. You might have everything all messed up yourself. It's okay. It's the love, it's the intention, and it's just those few real conversations that are really going to propel you in the right direction. You are the greatest financial influence that your child will ever have. Let that sink in. You are the greatest financial influence that your child will ever have. Whether you're starting early or you're starting late, or you're starting right now, you're doing the work that will bless generations. Thank you for listening. I look forward to catching back with you in a couple of weeks. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you are feeling more empowered in your financial journey. Remember, follow and subscribe to Her Money Revolution on your favorite podcast platform, and share your feedback by leaving a review. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway from today's episode. Until next time, stay inspired.